Welcome to my algebra class. We're on chapter 11, section 10. We're working with simple radical equations. A radical equation is an equation with a variable in the radicand, underneath the radical sign. And what we do is we try to isolate the radical on one side and then square both sides. So for the first example, it is isolated here, so we square both sides. And we get 2d equals, and we need 48 squared, which is 2,304. And then we divide by 2. And we find out that d equals 1,152. In the second example here, we have to isolate the radical on one side, so we have to subtract 2. So we get the square root of 5x plus 1 equals 4. Now we can square both sides to get rid of the radical. So we get 5x plus 1 equals 16. Subtract the 1, and we get 5x equals 15. Divide by 5, and x equals 3. When we square both sides, we've created a new equation, a squared equation, that might not be equivalent to the original one. So you have to check your answers when you get them to make sure they work. So I can see that that works here, and 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16. That works there. So be sure and check your results. We're ready to do the evens. So you need a sheet of notebook paper, headed. Fold it in half, and the title is page 548, 1 to 30. And we're doing number 2 to begin with. So number 2, we have the square root of y equals 14. Get rid of the radical, we square both sides. So y equals 196. Problem number 4, we have 9 equals the square root of 3a. Squaring both sides, we get 81 equals 3a. Divide by 3, and a equals 27, and that works. Problem number 6, we have the square root of 4n equals 1/3. So we square both sides, and we get 4n equals 1/9. Multiply by 1/4, and we get n equals 136, and that works. 4 times 136 is 1/9, and the square root of 1/9 is 1/3. Number 8, we have 7 equals the square root of z minus 2. First, we have to isolate the square root, so we're going to add 2 to both sides. And we get 9 equals the square root of z. Now square both sides to eliminate the radical, and we get 81 equals z. And that works. The square root of 81 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. Problem number 10, the square root of y minus 1/2 equals 2. Isolate the radical. We're going to add 1/2 to both sides. So we get the square root of y equals 2.5 or 5/2. Squaring both sides. We get y equals 25/4. Problem number 12, we have 8 equals the square root of s over 5. Square both sides to eliminate the radical, and we get 64 equals s over 5. Multiply both sides by 5, and we get 320 equals S. We have the square root of m plus 5 equals 1. Square both sides. Eliminate the radical. We have m plus 5 equals 1. Subtract 5 from both sides, and m equals negative 4. If I put that back in, negative 4 plus 5 makes 1, and the square root of 1 is 1, so that works. Number 16, I have 5 equals 2, radical 3x. Isolate the radical, so we need to divide by 2. So we have 5 halves equals the square root of 3x. Square both sides, and we get 25 fourths equals 3x. Multiply by a third, and we get 25 twelfths equals 3. Equals x, solving for x. Problem number 18. The square root of 3x plus 4 equals 7. Subtract 4 from both sides to isolate the radical, so we get the square root of 3x equals 3. Square both sides, and we get 3x equals 9. Solving for x, divide by 3, and x equals 3, which works. Problem number 20, we have 3 equals the square root of 4x plus 1. Square both sides to get rid of the radical, and we get 9 equals 4x plus 1. Two-step problem, subtract 1. So we get 8 equals 4x. Divide by 4, and x equals 2, which is our solution. 22, we have the square root of 5m minus 5 plus 6 equals 7. First, isolate the radical, so we need to subtract the 6. So we get 5m minus 5 under the radical equals 1. Square both sides to get rid of the radical. So we have 5m minus 5 equals 1. Solving for m, add 5 to both sides. We get 5m equals 6. Divide by 5. And our answer is 6/5. Problem number 24. We have the square root of r equals 5 radical 2. We square both sides. We get r equals 5 radical 2 times 5 radical 2 is 25 times 2. So r equals 50. Problem number 26. We have 14 equals the square root of 7x over 3 plus 2. Isolating the radical, we subtract 2 from both sides. So we get 12 equals the square root of 7x over 3. Square both sides to get rid of the radical. So now we have 144 equals 7x over 3. Multiply by 3, and we get 432 equals 7x. Divide by 7, and we get 432 over 7 equals x. We have the square root of 2n minus 4 over 8 equals 2. Since the radical is isolated, we'll square both sides, and we get 2n minus 4 over 8 equals 4. Solving for n, multiply by 8, We get 2n minus 4 equals 32. Add 4. We get 2n equals 36. It should be a 4. Then divide by 2, and our answer is n equals 18. And the last problem, number 30, we have 3 equals the square root of 4x minus 5 over 7. Square both sides. So we have 9 equals 4x minus 5 over 7. Multiply by 7. We have 63 equals 4x minus 5. Add 5. We have 68 equals 4x. Divide by 4. And 4 goes in 6 once. 28, 7. X equals 17. That concludes the evens. Be sure you check the answers to the back.